Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Leslie Evenetz, seasoned sales leader and founder of the sales-led go-to-market agency and recognized innovator in sales-led go-to-market strategies who is dedicated to transforming how B2B teams engage, win, and grow. Leslie, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks so much for having me. And I can add to those accolades that as of last week, I am now the author of a national best-selling book.
Oh, what's the title?
Profit Generating Pipeline.
Profit Generating Pipeline. Beautiful. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I am excited to dive in. I always like to take things back. So take me on a little trip down memory lane to before you started your company. What were you doing before? And then what was really the motivation behind starting your agency?
Yeah, I spent over 15 years in corporate. And so I did it all. Like I was an individual contributor and then was a player coach and like still carried a bag. I've done frontline, second line, executive sales leadership. And I've sold everything from like transactional one call close through to like multi-month 6-figure plus deals to small business owners to Fortune 250 C-suite. So I had a really diverse set of experiences in my career. And it's interesting because I thought that was a weakness for a really long time because I was talking to recruiters and hiring managers that wanted 10 years of deep cloud experience. And I was like, the cloud's barely 10 years old, but okay. And one of the catalysts for having the confidence to leave corporate and become a full-time founder was actually realizing that the diversity of that set of experiences made me uniquely equipped to get a lens into other organizations and figure out what was fit for purpose for them. But I was running this as a passion project while I was still in corporate. And what really made me confident that I should be running a side business, everybody has a side hustle nowadays, is that I joined a startup as employee number one.
Nice.
I honestly don't know what the heck I was thinking. You don't know what you don't know. And I had not come from the startup world. I'd come from more of the like traditional corporate world. And it was so hard. I created an MVP. I launched it very successfully, like 21 logos in 9 months post MVP launch. And it put this idea in my head that, hey, if I can do this for somebody else, and it was a bootstrap startup. So if I can bootstrap their startup in a crowded market, maybe I should have my own company just in case. But at the time, I had no idea that I would end up being called to full-time founder life and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So you implemented it and you did it with as employee number one, and then you're like, oh, I could do this for other companies as well. Walk
Yeah.
us through, let's give the listeners more context into today. Who would you say is your ideal client? Who do you love to work with? And then from there, we can dive into the different offers and services you provide.
That's such an interesting question because in year one of the business, I was giving clients the advice that they have to like really get clear about their ICP and niche down and create their different psychographic, firmographic, technographic filters. I went with vibes because I didn't know what type of work I would both enjoy doing the most and be able to get paid what I thought was fairly for. I just wasn't sure what I was going to, where I was going to ultimately land with a focus for the business. So
Mhm.
I gave myself permission in the first year to say yes to any project that sounded really interesting and exciting that I knew I could make a positive impact on if I was excited about working with that founder, that CRO sales team. And where that got me is primarily serving SaaS and service-based orgs and B2B that are between 30 and 50 million. But the key is that they have to be outbounding heavily.
Mm,
If they don't have that outbound play, I'm not the right consultant or coach for them.
got it. Okay, perfect. So at the beginning, which I think a lot of people start off this way, where it's like, hey, I'll just take anything I can get. Like it's just, but then it evolves and then you realize, okay, this is what I really like to focus on. What made you decide to stick with SaaS and service-based organizations?
Yeah, and it was actually quite a bit different than that in year one, maybe even the opposite of that. I had an extraordinarily long runway that I had built very intentionally so that I could say no to anything that did not interest me and to anybody I didn't want to work with, which was a huge gift. It was a privilege. And I did that very intentionally because, to your point, you see so many early entrepreneurs get a little thirsty and they say yes to deals that they shouldn't, and they work with people that maybe don't have value alignment. And I did absolutely did not want to start my business that way, because you see those same folks in a year, 2 years, 3 years, their company folds because they didn't start with the right foot forward. So that was like a early founder pitfall that I avoided. And then, wait, what was the other question? I want to make sure that I answer it
Yeah,
correctly.
I was just gonna say, what made you decide to stick with SaaS and service-based?
I'm going to even stick with SaaS and services forever. I think that's my ICP and that's who I serve best right now. SaaS, that's predominantly because I run an inbound and referral based business, and most of the referrals I get are to other, like from SaaS clients to other SaaS clients. And so I have a big repository of case studies and testimonials. That tends to be easier business to win, and they are more comfortable with doing longer term engagements and MRR models. Serving SaaS organizations works really well for me because it helps me even create more depth in my SaaS knowledge, but also with my pricing models. And I came from a service-based background before I transitioned into the tech space, and very few consultants serve services-based businesses. So that is, I think, a bit of a niche where I have the experience. Like I've done the work, I've walked the talk, and now I get to bring not just my background in services, but what I'm seeing from the broader B2B industry into those organizations to maybe help them leapfrog forward a bit more.
Yeah. So walk me through what your core offerings look like. So what does it actually look like when I engage with your company?
Yeah, so I'm in the midst of rolling out a brand new product to be in alignment with the book. So part two of Profit Generating Pipeline is my 9-step formula that I teach my clients. And it's what I've been teaching my clients for years. But what I found is that I'll come in and I'll teach steps 3 to 6, or we'll just do like steps 1 and 2 to get them started. And where I really want to take my business and the way I'm able to serve clients, because I know with certainty that going through all 9 steps, even if they feel like they know their value prop, even if they feel like they have an ICP, that level of like refinement and extra clarity that we get by going from step 1 to step 9 makes such a tremendous difference. So the biggest product that I will be really working on is a 12-month MRR engagement where we really do walk through each of those 9 steps, and we have the strategy, we have the done with you piece for building repeatable processes, and then I will also support with like mindset, skill set, enablement. So I'm very excited about that, but that is not a super high profit margin product, because I am a solopreneur supported by a team of freelancers, like 1099 freelancers, and that takes a lot of my time. So I also work with a lot of folks doing like workshops, sales kickoffs, speaking engagements, because that like really fills my cup. It scratches an itch of getting to work directly with staff. It's a slightly higher profit margin product. And then I still do a bit of early stage founder advisory. I only take on 3 clients at a time because it's not like that. I serve bigger organizations, but there is just something so special about working very early stage. So it's my company and I want to, so I do.
Yeah, there you go. That's the perk with having the freedom of being an entrepreneur. I love that. I'm super curious when it comes to this new offering that you're launching, and when it comes to customer acquisition specifically, you mentioned inbound referral-based business. I'm curious, what do you do from a lead generation and marketing front to generate new business?
Yeah, the book is a huge thing. The book, it turns out publishing is an absolute money pit. Just FYI, if anybody's wondering, it was really important to me from the beginning when I was investing in this book and investing in doing it in a way that felt like very high caliber, felt very professional, that I was clear with myself that this is a marketing expense. Like, I'm not trying to make my money back on individual book sales. I'm using it as a calling card and a lead magnet. So I anticipate, it's still early days, but I'm already getting some inbound attention. So I anticipate that the book will continue to have a ripple effect. But I do ask for referrals a lot, not just for my clients, but I'm also very clear on what I want my network to tag me in on. So we're getting super close to Q4. So as I'm having conversations with people and they ask me, how can I help you? What are you working on? I will explicitly say, if you hear anybody talking about or writing about hosting their sales kickoff, please say my name, please mention me. And so that helps me get tagged in or brought into the right conversations. And then I also am a chronically online person. So I am just a like couple dozen followers shy of 50K on LinkedIn. I'm a top voice there. I'm a sales beacon. So that's my primary source of inbound. But I also have a pretty similar size following on TikTok. And so video helps people connect with me in a way that written content on LinkedIn doesn't. So that becomes part of my lead funnel. And I do stuff like this, right? Like I'm out in the community, I'm having conversations on webinars, on LinkedIn Lives, on podcasts. And that also, it all creates that huge funnel where maybe somebody will see me having this conversation with closers and they'll follow me to TikTok, they'll watch me there for a bit, follow me to LinkedIn, see a Catalyst post, reach out. So it's a bit squishy. I don't have like super strict attribution because I don't need it since I am a solopreneur, but it is a lot of being super active in the community and sharing my knowledge for free that ultimately brings the inbound leads back.
Yeah, I love that. So it sounds like it's a lot of it is organic because you have such a strong following, given the value that you're providing to your audience. So there's a little bit of LinkedIn, there's a little bit of TikTok, there's a referral piece as well, and now the book, which is very exciting. Congrats on that, by the way. Profit generating pipeline. I'm assuming that's just Amazon people can go to.
Yeah, Amazon, your local independent bookstore is also a great place to get it, like Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, pretty much anywhere that you could go to get a book. And folks can also go, I have a single unit page at salesledgtm.com/book. And if you go to that page to order, there's a second step where you just put in like your email and your confirmation code, and then I'll email you like $420-ish worth of freebies that I put together as a thank you. So that's an option as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. Now, walk me through when you think of your vision for the company, let's say over the next 12 to 24 months. What specific milestones are you aiming for? Targets, whether that's revenue, whether that's something else. Walk me through that.
Oh, 12 to 24 months. I just did my mid-year review. So I'm still very locked into my 2025
Cool.
goals. Big goals for 2025, obviously, publishing the book was the biggest one. And that's done. Check. And then tomorrow at 6 a.m., I'll find out if I am a USA Today bestseller, instant USA Today bestseller, which was an associated milestone. So cross your fingers, toes, eyes, everything for me. Other big milestones were to get 20 paid speaking gigs. I'm at 13 now with some stuff in the pipeline, and then Q4 and Q1 are my biggest months. So that feels very highly likely. And I don't know, beyond that, what I have found is that it has suited me more in these past 3 years as a founder to be very flexible about my goals. So I am a very like goal-oriented person. Like you can't see it, but right off to the side of my desk, I have a whiteboard with my revenue thermometer that I fill in. I'm telemarking my fitness goals, my speaking goals. So it's not that I'm not a goal-oriented person, but I've found that as I have tried to set those like 24 month goals, it has hindered me more than it has helped me because
Interesting.
I am so goal oriented that it removes some of the flexibility I need to really like listen to my intuition, listen to the market, like flex to allow the business to go where it needs to go without me trying to like death grip control it and force it to go in a route that it maybe is not naturally going to go. So they're like, I don't have a 2 year. Oh, that's not true. I am going to write another book. I've already started it. So maybe
Okay.
my 2027 goal is to publish my next book. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I'm super curious. So I'm a big fan of the theory of constraints. I'm sure you've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's a lot of coaches and consultants and agency owners that listen to this, and typically I see it's like a couple different things. It's the offer or either the lead gen, the sales process, fulfillment, maybe sometimes operations. But I think those are typically the ones that I see, especially in these online high ticket service-based businesses. I'm curious for you of those, when you think of your goals, when you think of where you want to take the company, what do you think is the biggest challenge right now, like that you're really working through?
That's a really interesting question. I I think the biggest challenge right now is around launching that new product because I'm going to launch it at 144K price point. So it's like that's not chump change. And I think that in order to earn that price point from my customers, I can't promise them I'll deliver, you'll get the results because they will, that's fine. And I have the case studies and I have the testimonials to back that up. But what I think I owe them before I start selling it is additional clarity on exactly what it looks like and exactly how it will work and why it will work. So it's a challenge, not in that it is difficult, but a challenge in that I am challenging myself to really refine my talk tracks around that product before I believe it deserves the 144K price point. So I'm close, but I think that's a really interesting one. I'm actually working with a brand strategy group on that just to like really lock in all the minutia and make sure that I'm going to be delivering for my clients at the highest possible threshold. I think another one that I'm both very good at, but also continually plagues me is delegation. I'm sure that like other founders and entrepreneurs listening to this are immediately shaking their heads. So I have about 9 to 12 freelancers that I'm working with at any given time. So I talk about being a solopreneur, but trust that I am not doing this alone. I have a big team behind me. They're just not full-time employees. And something I have found in the past like 6 months is that a lot of freelancers that I'm hiring for one-off gigs because they are the subject matter expert and I'm hiring from them for their domain expertise, they're trying to figure out how to use AI, but they're testing that real time with their clients.
I
And
see.
so I have, oh my gosh, just had some like interactions that have made me want to pull out my freaking hair because the quality of work I'm getting is so extraordinarily low. And I've been working with freelancers consistently for 7 years, and I've never seen anything like I'm seeing the next 6 months. And so as somebody who heavily relies on 1099 employees and like domain experts, I think navigating this new world of cutting corners as a result of AI is a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And I think for anybody that's fearful of AI, I think that is actually a competitive advantage because if you don't cut corners, like you're saying, the quality of the work does diminish if there's no human that's actively trying to put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And then if these people are relying on AI, they're going to quickly weed themselves out. So that's where my mind went to first thing. Now, I do want to be respectful of your time. What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
Yeah, one thing I would add is I've started using human in the loop when I'm talking about AI, because we think about writing an email, and that's incredible if you can use AI to get an email started for you, but you don't just send it without checking it. Or like often a lot of the issues I had were with professional designers, and you could tell that they had just used AI to design something, but then they hadn't even proofread it.
Crazy.
So it's not don't use AI, use it to help you, but make sure that there's a human in the loop play. With that being said, the best place to reach me is on LinkedIn at Leslie Evenetz, on TikTok at Sales Tips Talk, or if folks do want to check out the book and get those $400+ in freebies, you can head to salesledgtm.com/book and make sure you complete step 1 and 2 so that I can email you your goodies.
Awesome. So you went fast there. Sales tips on TikTok.
Sales Tips Talk. And that was a real lesson in choosing a handle before you ever say it out loud. But I'm committed. I'm 4 years in. So Sales Tips Talk it is.
Got it. And then salesledgtm.com.
Yep.
And
Yep. Slash
there,
book for the book specifically.
got it. Slash
Mhm.
book. And then there's Leslie Evenetz on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. This was
Yeah,
great. I appreciate being invited to the conversation.
anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to reach out to Leslie Evenetz on LinkedIn. You can also go to salesledgtm.com/book. You can also go to Sales Tips Talk on TikTok to follow her further. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we were able to go from zero to $30 million in less than 3 years and how you can implement similar strategies. Until then, keep on climbing.